share it too.
I get it.
I was writing fast.
Yeah. So yeah.
Mm-hmm. Peace,
Peace.
Terica.
What's up, Terica?
What's up, sis?
How you doing?
Terica Mine up in this thing. Y'all already know what it is.
Peace to everybody that's looking. Yeah, Sages.
Women's
What's going
gathering,
on?
Widow gang.
This
Peace,
one loving
Sages.
life.
Woman's loving
Yeah,
life.
peace to you.
Nate D.
Yeah.
Do D stand for dog? What does D stand for? I
Like
always
Nate
think of
Dogg?
Nate Dogg.
Yeah. Yeah, peace. He said
Act
Dilladay.
Act like you don't know this happening.
Yeah, everybody good. What's
We
up,
good.
Daniel?
What's up, Daniel?
Peace, man. Yeah.
Okay, Zone back.
Nina.
Okay, yeah. Peace,
Yeah.
Nina.
Sis Rabu, she in the house.
Peace.
Yeah.
Yes, Rashawan. What's up, y'all? We finna get into it.
Yeah.
Yeah, we finna get into it.
Yeah.
This mental detox self-love journey. For those of you who've been on this with us, you know, it's challenging in its own way.
Yeah.
So tonight we just gotta do justice and dig in. Yes, like, share, subscribe.
Thank you.
And donations.
Yeah.
You know, dropping them donations, it helps us to keep doing what we're doing. Businesses like this, of course, we're not probably not gonna get, a bank just like, hey, we want to give you money, your business plan is great. Like this, this is the realm where we gotta support each other.
That's true. True. Yeah. Thank you, Mom. Miss Love and Light.
Oh, thank you.
We looking beautiful and radiant.
I share that. Yes.
Yeah. And speaking on what Cam just said, yeah, we actually, and I think we mentioned this before in past, that we did reach out to a group. In fact, that's what they do. They help you to promote your business. They help you to get your business going. And because of the content, they was like, you'd have to change this and change that and change this, and because that isn't the nature of what we do.
Yeah,
we sticking with what we got going on right here.
Yeah. So we chose y'all. We chose our tribe. We did. So we definitely could have been doing well financially, but this was a conscious decision. And again, so thank you for your support, your love, your likes, your shares, all of that. We appreciate y'all. Yeah. For those of you who ordering products from us, maybe it was your first time, or maybe you've already had products, you never did a review. Like, those reviews help other people to know where they can get quality products from, who are experiencing awakening. It's just so many people out here that's really not about the life. And so many people that sell potions, and I'm just like, oh my gosh, like, I'm watching your video and I'm listening to you, and I don't know why I want a potion from you. It's so crazy, and you pick up on the minute things, the subtle things that you feel in people's energy. So in this community, it's just so much of that, and there's so much inauthenticity, and sometimes people are really, really good at looking conscious and woke and authentic and about the magical life and being in them spiritual streets and alchemy and shadow work. And but they're like, the persona that they're projecting on here is not what they're not doing the work. So the self-love challenge and the mental detox was kind of like a peek into our lives. Like, what are we doing when we're not here doing this? And so we just been sharing so much. So thank you for everybody who's been participating. It's like just real sacred space. Ain't nobody talking crazy to each other over there. Ain't nobody arguing about each other's beliefs. Okay, we back. For some reason, we got kicked off and it closed out, but we back. So hopefully, can y'all hear us good? We'll keep going.
Can y'all hear us? Okay.
Okay,
Yep.
awesome.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Awesome.
Yeah. So cool. SS Lane. Thank you for that. Yeah. Yeah. You said a little low.
No, it's off in the volume. It's up. Okay, anybody else feel like the sound is low?
Yes, can hear you. Okay.
Okay, cool. We'll just speak up a little bit.
Okay.
Okay, awesome.
Cool.
Might depends on people's
Cool
connection.
for rock and roll. All right.
So yeah, welcome to the new people. Welcome to the day
What's
one.
up, Kevin? Yeah,
Welcome to the day
peace
two.
to you,
Peace,
man.
Kevin.
Gang,
What's up,
gang.
man?
Yeah,
Yes.
we appreciate you.
So yes, y'all, toxic relationships. Oh my gosh, when you do a mental detox, you realize how toxic your internal world really is. So when we say toxic relationships, it might sound like we were speaking of other people, but we are speaking of you, because you first have to be in a relationship with you.
That's right.
And that is what determines the relationships with other people.
Yep.
People in your relationships are simply an extension of you. So if you find yourself in relationships with people who don't value you, it is a shadow aspect of you not valuing yourself, because you would pick that up about those people and you would not make investments into your time and your energy and creating bonds with people who are incapable of acknowledging your worth and respecting you and caring about you.
That's right.
So we were just talking today and I was like, why is it so hard to change? Like, it seems like the hardest thing in the world to change. And we got to talk and I was like, you know what? Toxic relationships, they are intoxicating. And when it first came out of my mouth, I was like, that makes no sense. Why would you be intoxicated? Why would you intentionally be under the influence of something that stimulates you, even though you know it's toxic? But that's the whole point in awakening.
Yeah. To reach it, to be able to detox, to get rid of all of this stuff that no longer serve you. Yeah,
Absolutely.
from thought forms to man, a lot of the different patterns. And so yeah, that's right, Kevin. Under spell.
Yeah. So we have been intoxicated by America. We have been intoxicated by the negative attachment to our trauma. It's intoxicating. So if
and
you
the negative stereotypes that are always played out.
Absolutely, a lot of us play intoxicating roles because it's intoxicating for you to play that role. You know, and even if it's the role of a victim, like what do people get out of it? We get something out of being a victim, because sometimes being a victim gets you attention when nothing else does. You know, so yes. So before you all be like, wait a minute, toxic relationships is not intoxicating for me. Let us get into some definitions, okay? And let's just see. Again, when you mental detox, just like when you physically detox, you're going to go through a purge. You're going to go through a time of a healing crisis, or it's like you're going to get sick before you get better. So with awakening, you awaken to your sickness within you. You awaken to the toxins, and you awaken to the intoxicating effects. The reason why it's so hard for you to change some things is because you are benefiting from some of the toxic things that you do, say, and people that you are in relationships with. So the definition of intoxicating is causing great emotional or mental stimulation, a pleasurable stimulation. Now, I'm finna hit a lot of y'all with something where you're gonna be like, okay, you know what? I'm starting to identify with this. Mental detox is definitely happening. Anger is intoxicating. Who is intoxicated by anger? Disempowered people. And I'm gonna explain why. this may be the only time that you may feel that you have control over your life or even someone else's. Subconsciously, if a person can do something to cause a reaction, that person now has a false sense of control and power. The intoxicating sensation leaves soon after, and the person feels disempowered all over again. It is a vicious cycle. So to get a fix, a moment of exhilaration, a moment of feeling alive, because we feel numb so much because we have had to shut down and suppress these huge aspects of ourselves. Maybe when you're angry, you feel alive. Maybe when you're screaming and feel like somebody is hurting you, and it's what they're doing. It's not you, it's not you, it's not you. It's them. It's always them. It's never you. Maybe it is intoxicating for you to be able to get angry and upset somebody else because you feel like now I do got power. So that moment of feeling alive, right? The ego self will jump to any opportunity to express anger in an over dramatized way. This is how you know when it's ego. So we're not demonizing anger. We're not demonizing ego. We're just helping you to see what happens, why it happens, and the cycles of intoxicating, toxic things that we are stuck in cycles of. So this is a sign that you are intoxicated by the toxins in your life. The first step to healing is realizing the toxins that intoxicate you, so that you can finally address the issue. So until you realize that the ego was created to protect you, so it is an expert at blaming other people, which keeps you from having to look at yourself and having to find the root of the issue. You want to add something?
And that's so intoxicating within itself, ain't it? Just to be so disconnected, and I can only speak from experience, just being disconnected, and not want, I don't want to get ahead of myself, but definitely dealing with, as we've already said, working on yourself. If you do not realize that the most smallest things from the time that we then came into this world, anything traumatic, has built up that inertia of being toxic. And so we just exist. We exist in the toxic world, through the different experiences that we've had. Most of us, as we've shared before, probably hadn't been introduced to getting any type of help in regards to the issues that we have. So you don't address it, you sweep it under the rug, and you continue on in life with a mask that everything is good, that you're good. And so guess what? That toxicity will come to the surface only when what? You're challenged. And so I'm gonna break that down. I'm gonna go into that more. But continue on, babe.
Yeah. So
thank you, Woman Miss Love Night.
Ashe. Yeah. Like, may they return to you 30, 60, 100 fold, sis. Yes. Thank you.
Indeed.
So I hope now that y'all are beginning to see, wait a minute, okay, I can see myself in this. So what happens is, like the whole nation, Ernest was like, damn, we live in a toxic nation. I was like, we do. We really do. So, one of the things, when you begin to acknowledge this, acknowledge your addiction, everybody wants to feel like they have control over their life. Sometimes you can't do that. If your sadness is what got you attention, if your seductiveness is what got you attention, if using your sexuality is what got your attention, if getting angry is finally whatever got you attention as a kid, 9 times out of 10, you still using it now.
Unconsciously.
we're not speaking about consciousness at all. This was revealed to us about our unconscious, that we are intoxicated by toxins. And I was like, that's not true. And then when we started discussing, and I was like, wow. And I told Ernest, I was like, Ernest, you have you have to heal in the present so that you can rewrite history, so that you can heal the future. So this is when you're doing this work of transmutation and alchemy, I need you to understand the ultimate spell, the ultimate ritual, the ultimate ceremony, the ultimate ritual, the ultimate visualization and manifestation is you changing. But there are so many different elements and facets to you changing. This is your childhood programming. This is your love attachment. These are the things that you think about and you allow yourself to marinate in. If you marinate in gravy kind of thoughts, then that's what you go be gravy. You know, if you marinate, whatever you're marinating in your thought life, that's mostly what you're seeing in your day-to-day life, your physical life. So everything in your physical life right now, you gave birth to it in some shape, form, or fashion, even if you created it with someone else, or with your parents, or with an ex, or with the person that you're with now. Like, you're always creating something, even if you are unconscious of what you are creating. We're always creating something because we are extensions of source energy. And because we're in the age of Aquarius, it's so important and so key to begin pinpointing the things that intoxicate you, especially the things that you know are not beneficial for you anymore. But the ego doesn't know time. All the ego knows is, I have to protect. I have to protect. So, the quote again is, as you heal in the present, you're rewriting history to create a better future. Okay? Little quote I wrote. So to be disempowered. Now remember I said anger only makes some people feel good, or anger only makes some parts of you feel good. The disempowered parts of you is satiated and satisfied when there is an explosive, extra dramatic burst of anger. But it leaves you feeling worse later.
That's right.
Because it's fleeting. And the power doesn't last. It's a false sense of power. So the reason why disempowered people get such to where this becomes an addiction. So the definition of disempowered is to deprive of power, authority, or influence. To make weak, ineffectual, or unimportant. Okay? A lot of us deal with that.
Yes.
And that's a lot of us, that's what we're healing. Right?
Yeah, we've been disempowered on a grand scale, you know. And we not speaking anything right now that's so profoundly that, you know what I'm saying, everybody understands that we've been disempowered. We've been disempowered as a people. And so being disempowered as a people generationally, that has been passed on down. And so now we're all about what? Empowering ourselves. That's what the shadow work is all about. That's what getting to know yourself is all about. Knowledge of self, self-mastery. It's all about empowering yourself. So the fact that we are coming out of a frame of thinking where we are disempowered is exactly what this is all speaking to.
Yeah. So to grow up, to come to earth, right, as a starseed, and to grow up in a family that probably wasn't equipped to raise you, you were automatically disempowered from birth. So this is what we would consider being born in sin, shaped in iniquity, born into this woundedness, born into this place of disempowerment. To be a baby, that's one of the most disempowered forms that you can take into this world, is to be a baby.
Your system.
You know?
That is so true. Yeah.
You want to pick up?
Yeah.
Fragility.
And so,
Break it down.
yeah, fragility. This is another term. As we were discussing this, there were several terms that just kept resonating, and Cam began to just put them all down and define them. And so, fragility, the quality of being easily broken or damaged.
Mm.
Fragility, the quality of being easily broken or damaged. A lot can be said about that.
Yeah, because let me squeeze this in here. Because we only got an hour tonight, and we still got a lot we wanted to go over. But between the divine masculine and divine feminine, so even you within yourself, and then you within whatever relationship you may be having with someone else, what happens is, as you're going through the spiritual awakening, like how fragile you really are, or how fragile they really are, all of a sudden you become like very aware of that. And that right there is a trigger within itself, because nobody wants to feel fragile.
That's right.
Because feeling fragile automatically denotes a feeling of unsafeness. You know. So I was thinking.
Goes back to the disempowerment.
Exactly. So I was thinking, like, okay, what is it? What makes us so disempowered? And so the quality of being easily broken. So like for Ernest, me being the divine feminine, I identify with the divine feminine principle. As he's going through his healing of his divine masculine returning, and the toxic masculine being exposed, oh my goodness. There are times where I have to handle him like fine china. There are days where he like a piece of wood or steel or rock, and you know, but there are some days where he like fine china. And I have to handle him differently. And so for those of you who wanted us to talk more about divine masculine and divine feminine alchemy, basically, which is what it is, even working with these parts of your own self.
That's right.
So you can have wounded masculine, wounded feminine characteristics within yourself as well, and a lot of times they manifest in your relationships. So vulnerability, now the definition of that is basically you're capable of being physically or emotionally wounded. Okay? So there's the capability of you being emotionally wounded, but fragility is it has happened and I'm fragile. Okay? Now, one of them denotes being a victim and disempowers you, and the other doesn't. So I said, no, we disagreed, and I wrote this down, that we disagreed because vulnerability is being aware that you need support, not being frozen by fear. You will consciously expose yourself to someone that you feel deserves your openness. So to be fragile is being broken, handicapped, and you act broken. You behave handicapped. It is a state of disempowerment. It is a state of victimhood. That's fragility. And I'm going to get into vulnerable again so you can see the difference between the two, because they seem really similar, and I couldn't tell the difference until today.
And so one thing that helped is really understanding all of this, because vulnerability for a man, that's something that is not innate. I think, to the best of my recollection, when it comes to being vulnerable, that is not a celebrated, that's not a celebrated idea as far as manhood. But when it comes to relationships, we're learning that it's necessary for women. They come to the women, y'all can be vulnerable, you know what I'm saying, but y'all can only be vulnerable when the atmosphere is right. when the setting is right, then y'all can fall into y'all more vulnerable nature. But for a man, and let me say this, the divine feminine has a divine masculine aspect about themselves as well. And so you have to turn, it's like a turn on and off, or it's like that dance that we mentioned. But being vulnerable, that's a real touchy subject, because initially in our relationship, when it came to being vulnerable, I struggled with it and sometimes still struggle with it now. That it's basically just opening up and being open to the extent of it's okay. If something hurts me, it's okay. You know what I'm saying? But because we so guarded. I know I was extremely guarded. I've always been the type that emotionally extremely guarded. And so that totally contradicts being what? Vulnerable. You know what I'm saying? But in this relationship, vulnerability is what allows your love and what allows your connection to really bond and blossom. Vulnerability. And so, brothers, I just extend that to you, you know, or my divine feminine sisters, if you not as vulnerable, learning how to know yourself, to realize how important us being vulnerable is, will definitely help us to be able to release a lot of the toxicity within ourselves, as well as when we're trying to build for our relationships.
Absolutely. So, a lot of people not in twin flame reunions. We're twin flames who decided to transmute and become soulmates. You know what I'm saying? It was a conscious decision. But this work that you must do with yourself first, it makes it so much more effortless to be with somebody who is imperfect, because you've been facing your own demons. So I was able to hold that space for him, but now he's having to step up to the plate and hold space for me. So, and that's just the way it goes. And to be vulnerable in the right condition is to be courageous enough to remove your armor, to basically take off your mask, take off your lashes, whatever you wear and do to make you feel better, you know, to take all that shit off and say, though I am broken, I can face anything in front of me, because the wounds aren't making me a victim. They are just showing me that I am a victor who overcame a weapon that did not leave me dead, only wounded.
You're going to have to read that again.
So to be so vulnerable in the right conditions, this means vulnerability is kind of like get naked. You don't just get naked with anybody. Vulnerability is like using the bathroom. You just don't take a poop in front of it. I mean, I'm being real. You don't. Vulnerability, it's just some stuff that you just don't do. It, you know, everybody knows, like when you're using the bathroom, you don't want nobody bothering you. So there's a time for everything. But when the time is presented to you to be vulnerable, know that in that moment, you're being courageous enough to remove your armor, to say, though I am broken, I can face anything in front of me, because the wounds are not making me a victim. They are showing me I am a victor who overcame a weapon that did not leave me dead, only wounded. Vulnerability is a superpower, and that's why it's so difficult to do. Now, will you be vulnerable sometimes and that shit don't go well? Yeah. You know, you can't predict every single situation and predict it right and live like that. That's not living. You have to live. So have rituals of vulnerability that you do with yourself, even being vulnerable with yourself. I be vulnerable with y'all. I get on here. I'm the damn goddess of love and beauty. So for me, looks is everything. And people thought that I was arrogant most of my life. I'm confident. However, I have moments where I know I need to be vulnerable with my audience, and I'm not gonna get all pretty. I'm not gonna do it. Matter of fact, I'm gonna wake up and I'm probably gonna do a video and I ain't even got out of bed and brushed my teeth yet. All that shit, it's intentional. To be conscious, to be woke, is to live intentional.
But that's strong. That's strength.
That's strength.
That's what it
to
is.
say, damn, I'm so scared to do this, but I'm gonna do this shit anyway. That's what vulnerability is.
And that's one of our little sayings.
Yeah.
Yeah. When you have fear or fear comes about anything, do it anyway. Just do it anyway.
Yeah, absolutely. So by opening up like this, y'all, you are allowing the womb to get the air that it's been needing to heal.
Yeah.
When you suffocate a wound, it is not going to heal.
That's right.
All right. So by removing armor in safe spaces, you are becoming resilient and you are healing your nervous system in the process. You are allowing all that subconscious work you've been doing and meditations and meditating while you sleep and just training yourself to do it. You've got to allow that stuff the opportunity to show itself in your life. Okay. So this is going to heal your nervous system while you're in the process of reprogramming your subconscious mind, which I know that, y'all doing that because you wouldn't be watching us if it wasn't. This is not the most popular thing in the world right now. Even though some videos, personal help and self-help, got millions of views, but we still are part of a smaller group of people, of souls on this planet. So sometimes the only person that you can be vulnerable with is you. So create a safe space for you to expose your own wounds, right? To not hide them, to look at them, and your weaknesses, and then offer love to them. However that shows up, whatever that is. Because success in any relationship begins with this vulnerable form of expression and unconditional love. For those of you who are single, do the work. The person is just going to manifest in alignment because you're in alignment. Do the work. Don't focus on the person, focus on doing the work. Okay? So what happens is, with vulnerability, this from all of us, from childhood, is not safe. Okay? So what happens with the fragility part, because as we're awakening, we're realizing that we lack resilience. We're realizing, for Ernest, the divine masculine, he's realizing that he may have physical resilience, but he lacks emotional resilience. He doesn't have the neuroplasticity to even be able to deal with certain emotions. So a lot of divine masculines, who identify with most of divine masculine energy, we all have both. But what happens is they don't want to deal with the feminine energy in the way it presents itself, because feminine energy can be very chaotic. It's always changing. It's very unpredictable. It's all of that shit. So like feminine energy came here, divine feminine energy on this planet right now, it is teaching us vulnerability. We realize how vulnerable we were as a people with this damn biological warfare that's going on. And it's like, wow. So you can notice that you have brokenness and fragility, but you don't have to allow that to be what dictates your relationships and what happens in your life. And it's gonna be scary. I still fear intimacy after all of these years of doing this work and being either brave or crazy enough to say, I'm gonna document the whole process and put it on YouTube and share my whole life. I still fear intimacy. I still have moments where I have to regulate my mind and regulate my breath, my heart, and my emotions to be intimate with this man, or even with my kids sometimes, because it's just a subconscious thing that I did to keep me safe, to shut down, to not feel. So a lot of times you are not present in your own body. So that's why I said be vulnerable with yourself, so that you can practice being present in your body and being comfortable in it and embracing it. This is physical, the physical shit to show up, There are some insecurities that you have where you have to look at them long enough where you be like, because for me, I was overweight for a certain number of years and nothing that I did could get me to the weight I wanted to get to. But the insecurity that the weight caused was keeping me from sleeping with people who energy was so damn toxic. I probably would still be doing spells and spiritual baths trying to get that shit off 10 years after they ass. So, you know, but self-realization is sitting in it, and when that stuff come up, or maybe your kids might, sometimes kids take some stuff like, you know, Daddy, you don't never want to play with me, you don't want to interact with me, and that moment and it hits you, and it's like, damn, you know, like how I'm trying to be conscious, and I'm not interacting in a way that's bonding with my child.
That's right.
So it comes in a lot of different forms, but just know that you are wounded. We're all wounded. You know, when y'all look at me and look at my chest and see all of the many wounds that I have, like this shit, you know, because of the program, and it was like, oh, be shaming your wounds. But now it's like, no, fuck that, because all of this shit that could have killed me didn't kill me. I'm still standing. So that shit is a badge of honor, and that's how you need to feel about yourself. So it doesn't mean that you're making excuses for the messed up shit that you do and the way it come up, but you're accepting it and you're offering love to it because you realize it was created because of a state of brokenness and trauma. So this is why the shame, the guilt, giving too many fucks about how people feel about things. How do you feel about it? I tell him all the time. He'll be like, how does haircut look? How this look? How this? I'm like, how do you feel it look? Well, I feel like it look good. But then instead of you asking me, tell me that it look good to the point where I might not even thought it looked good. And now I'm like, you know what? That shit do look good.
That's right, Kevin.
You know?
Yeah.
It's just, you just got to put that extra sauce of confidence on there. We're being challenged. Humanity is being challenged to evolve. Divine feminine energy is, she coming in with that real Kali energy, and she's just like, no, cutting your head off. No, ego, cut that shit down. That shit ain't gonna work. Nope, that shit worked in your last relationship, won't work in this one. Oh, that shit worked last year, not gonna work this year. You're not gonna keep running from yourself. You're not gonna keep running from this. You go face the fact that you got insecurities, you needy as hell, you codependent, you complain a lot, you're greedy, you're pessimistic, and all this, you're doing this shadow work, and you're like, oh shit, is anything right about me? If you're looking for shit that's right about you, you're gonna be left heartbroken every single time. But if you're looking for the wounds, and you looking at the wounds and being like, you know what, this right here is showing up, it's a wound, but I'm still standing, I can celebrate myself because of that. I ain't healed it yet. I ain't learned how to react in ways that are healthy yet. I ain't learned how to stop cussing people out. I still have not learned how to stop overeating. I still, whatever it is that you do that's intoxicating for you, that gives you comfort and cope, but it's not serving you, like, it's okay that you ain't learned how to, you know, it's cool. It's gonna happen.
Stay the course. Keep working it.
Absolutely.
But yeah, everything you said. Yes. And I know y'all feeling it the same. Yeah, definitely.
That's right. So intimacy, okay? Now, you know, I asked the question because I just wanted to know how many people was interested. But like the lack of intimacy, that's the real pandemic. And you know, we have traded intoxicating things for intimacy. Because the stuff that intoxicates you, again, your trauma is the reason you gave birth to that shit in the first place. So it's automatically going to be intoxicated. It don't matter if it's good for you or not. Let's just be real about that. Everything is good for you, don't taste good, feel good, smell good, none of that shit.
It's always the unfavorable stuff.
Absolutely. So to be intimate, you have to be vulnerable first. You cannot have intimacy without vulnerability. And so this is something that me and Ernest went back and forth about a lot.
Yeah. So
fragility, now when fragility is acknowledged and it's followed by inspired moments of expression, it leads to strength that is only created by being vulnerable.
Y'all hear that? Your vulnerability
is
not a weakness. I heard you. Your vulnerability is not a weakness. It's actually a strength. Yeah. But the indoctrination and the false self and the ego would have you to feel like, no, in order to stay protected, in order to stay safe, in order to keep from being hurt. We so fearful of being hurt. And I'm reminded that most of the time that what you fear the most is really what you're magnetically drawing to yourself.
Yeah.
So time out for being fearful.
Yeah.
Again, when you have fear about something, is just do it anyway.
Yeah, absolutely.
Mm.
So yes, just keep that in mind, y'all. Okay, keep that in mind.
I'm going to read that again.
Okay.
Intimacy requires vulnerability. Fragility acknowledged, followed by inspired moments of expression, leads to the strength that's only created by being vulnerable.
Yeah.
The emotional aspect is feminine. When a man is blocked emotionally, the woman will take on that energy and be unable to connect with him emotionally. This is why women always feel like they are not being emotionally fulfilled, all while the man is being sexually fulfilled. This is an imbalance. It leads to lack and strife because the whole world is created from a woman's womb, including personal finances.
Because again, personal finances, money, currency was created by human beings, and human beings were created by women. Bang, pocketbook. Remember how your mom talking to you about your pocketbook? Yeah, yeah, that pocketbook.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just in case y'all didn't know that. Why they call it a pocketbook? Yeah, it was definitely a reason.
Mm-hmm. Once the relationship between the divine feminine and masculine is balanced, your finances will change according to the level of connection between you and your partner, especially.
Ooh,
yes.
That's a biggie.
So you want to go in more and more and more and more. You never get a point. I can't imagine us getting to a point to where we say we've arrived.
Mm-mm.
Because wisdom tells us we always learning. We always, like she said, it's chaotic. You know what I'm saying? The energy is chaotic. The divine feminine energy is that of chaos. And so the feminine and masculine aspects about ourselves as individuals, we gonna change. You know what I'm saying? But it's about learning how to control it all in the process. And then when you're working with your partner, it's learning how to dance and navigate together in harmony.
Yeah. It's so when you look at it, the breakdown of the family structure actually led and was connected to the financial breakdown. And so now we're healing these parts. So even within yourself, as you're healing these parts within yourself, the financial situation is going to change for you. So it don't mean you may necessarily always have the money on hand, but shit will just be working out for you. Well, sometimes you don't even need to have money because you are just in the flow of abundance. And so people be like, what the hell? What do you do? Like, what do you do? You know, and you're like, I'm not punching anybody's clock, but I have food, I have clothes, and I have shelter. You know, whatever it may be. And I've talked to a lot of people who have left their jobs and a lot of people who are looking for something they're passionate about to do to be able to make their money from that. And this is the first thing that I give them. Like, how intimate are you with yourself? You know, how intimate are you with the parts of yourself that you have been taught to be ashamed of, or that make you feel guilty, you know? Like, because if before you can step into the realm of working for yourself, you definitely got to have, again, you got to have this level of intimacy. So a lot of times,
break that down, especially in this 5D reality that we in.
Yeah.
Now, there might have been some old ways that have worked in the past, you know what I'm saying? But where we are right now, no. It requires us to be definitely intimate with ourselves.
Yeah, absolutely. So self-love, self-intimacy, mental detox. So the truth is we are intoxicated by these things. And toxic relationships, especially for a lot of us, it was exciting. It was exhilarating. At least it wasn't boring. It wasn't flat. You know, because you felt alive. Even pain makes you feel alive. So some stuff that hurts, you know, even though it hurts, you don't want to let it go. And, you know, and it's just like, you know, I mean, what can you say? That was just huge, that the toxic things in our life are intoxicating. So think about it. You got alcohol, drugs, substances. People talk about all of that, but what about the intoxicating energetics? You know, what about the intoxicating programs that you run on? So again, being a victim is intoxicating, because maybe being a victim helped you to get attention that you didn't usually get, or maybe being injured or wounded finally got your parents' attention, or it was only when you hurt yourself that they would stop what they was doing, and you know what I'm saying? So when you get older, you get into this victimhood thing where instead of saying, hey, I'm fragile in this area, I'm not feeling secure, I feel like I need a little extra support, or you know, I'm feeling some kind of way, instead of you communicating that, you just go into a victimhood and hoping that it inspires somebody around you to do something about it. But
Like-
it's showing up for you to do something about it.
Like they can just read your energy,
Yeah.
read your mind, and know that hey, I'm over here struggling and I'm loathing.
Yeah.
You know, we done been through those. We done been through those bouts ourselves. So yeah, definitely speaking from experience.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So let's get into some planetary parts of this, because it really shocked me. You know, Betelgeuse showed up again, and Betelgeuse is playing a role in the evolution of what we're going through as humanity is having to evolve. And again, that divine feminine energy shows up in so many ways. So we can use mythology to talk about this divine feminine energy, but let's use some planetary aspects to talk about this energy, which I thought was really interesting. So, with Orion, right? Orion, the three stars of Orion's belt, okay? With Orion is actually kept in check by Scorpio, the energy of the Scorpio zodiac, okay? That particular zodiac represents natural law and the feminine principle, okay? Now, in planetary mythology, right, it was the sting of Scorpio that brought down Orion. If you go back into the mythology of that, remember, this is the feminine principle, and it brought him down. So this actually brings us back into balance. So Betelgeuse represents a process of evolving from the young naive prince, is what it represented in certain ages, to the overblown tyrant, which is what many of us, how our parents were, or whoever raised you, to the wise wizard. So now on an evolutionary scale, more of us are identifying with witchery and wizardry and spiritual practices and finding ways to be in alignment and to cause situations to bend in your favor. But with all of this energy of Orion, which is the masculine energy, okay, it is the masculine solar version of the triple moon goddess, the maiden mother and crone, which I thought was really significant. And I was wondering, who is the divine masculine to the triple dark goddess? And it's Betelgeuse and Orion. Hot damn. So we have no choice but to learn how to surrender and to flow with this energy, because it is not leaving, it is not going anywhere. The feminine principle has been suppressed, abused for so long. So men, for those of you who identify as divine masculine, you balancing out your masculine leadership, learning how to hold space, learning how to be in the present, because being with an awakened woman is a challenge, because nothing done in the old relationships with unawakened women works. Right. To the point where you left scratching your head like, I don't even want to know what kind of creature you are. Like, it ain't like I ain't never been with a woman before. That's just the nature of things. No pun intended, but that's the law of that nature. So it made me wonder about the scripture about the scorpions and the scorpion stings for a period of 5 months, and they had hair like women. And it made me wonder, is that divine feminine energy that has come to sting us and cause us to pay more attention to where our feet are stepping in the path? Because the path that you are paving, you create 1 foot, 1 step at a time. So so this is the divine feminine energy that's present on this planet that's causing us to shift and like we're gonna see this explosion of wizards and witches and like this. I mean, look at the TV shows and stuff. It's becoming very mainstream.
And so, yeah, well, I just wanted to say, as you was saying all of that, it brings up the whole point of the realization that we as men, we as masculine, have a debt. And I know what I'm saying, what we're saying right now. To some it may resonate, to some it may not. But men, we have a karmic debt to pay to our women. We just do. We have seen our women abused, misused. It has been passed down. So much so that they have to heal their yonis. And so we have to stand in the place. I am practicing standing in the place of holding that sacred space for my wife, my mate, my twin. And I realized after going and beginning to do the shadow work and having conversations, and Cam and I talking, and more we talk, and more pain is brought forth, and more of the necessity for us to heal. But then the only way that we can experience some things, as we've already said, in relationship is for us as men to be in the right place, because we set the tone, because we bring structure, we bring direction, we bring that leadership to the table. And so we got to get in the right place. We out of our own mouths, we've degraded women. And we see it as a trend right now in society. In society right now, the woman is always, especially the black woman, but it doesn't matter. It's not racial. It's not about races, because again, we're talking about healing from a soul standpoint. And so we have to work. We have to be present. She mentioned it, but we have to be present, and we have to be accounted for in the right way. And standing in the place of holding sacred space for our women and our children is so necessary and so important. And one of the things that I'm learning, there are a number of things that we can employ, but some of the most basic things is just to say, you know what, ask the question, what can I do to be a better service to you? What can I do as the husband, as the father, as your partner? What can I do to help you today? We got to ask ourselves that question, but just being present, just being in a place to where, you know what, it's not about me, it's about you. Because like she said, mainly everything comes through the woman. That's everything to honor them for. It's everything to give reverence to y'all for. So, you know, it's definitely, this is going to be an ongoing topic that we deal with as far as, and I'm going to share some more things for the men as well, in regards to really just standing in the gap, just standing in the gap and being that leader, being that protector, and emotionally being in position to help unlock the divine feminine.
Yeah.
Because it first comes, everything that we mentioned, everything from the vulnerability, the fragility. Once we as men can come back home, because I've been so disconnected from this heart space through conditioning, that once I come back into my heart space, now I understand my role. Now I understand the importance of, and I'm learning how to love her. And the only way that we can learn how to love one another is by being vulnerable with each other. And so, clearing the karmic debt, that's a start.
Absolutely.
It's a huge start, and it's one of those things that not a lot of people talk about. You know what I'm saying? And to some, it even would seem like, oh, you selling out, but no, it's not a sellout. Actually, I'm buying into it. You know what I'm saying? And it's something to buy into.
Making an investment.
Exactly.
And you know, this is just learning how to have reverence for the energy that has manifested for all of creation to even exist in the first place. And going into patriarchy, being in patriarchal monotheistic religions, and then to find out that all previous religions and spiritual belief systems was simply centered around this goddess, the divine feminine principle, these energies. It shows you how out of alignment we have been. And so, like I was telling Ernest, because y'all come up in entertainment and stuff like that, most of the time it was at the expense of the woman, because that's the way the structure been set up, especially with the black woman. And so, I mean, with the black woman, I don't know any other race that demeans their women and they benefit financially for it. So this shows you that there is some very deep spiritual significance to that. So for any man who has not yet to surrender to divine feminine energy, age of Aquarius is gonna be tough for you. Any person who identifies as divine masculine, it's gonna be tough for you until you're able to surrender to this energy, because it is the divine feminine energy that brings forth creation of change. So the masculine energy provides structure. The reason why men are having to do most of this work and having to take all this responsibility on, because for so many decades, they did not take the responsibility. They did not do the work. They did not do the soul work. They did not raise the children. They did not help build a home. They did not help to take care of the home and the family and the health of the children. It's the women. We've had to have the structure. We've had to work jobs. We've had to move in and out of masculine and feminine energy a lot. Now, is there a toxic feminine energy? Absolutely. Should you be vulnerable with that kind of energy? Absolutely not, unless you own some type of experimental shit and you want to just see how it goes. And you know the toxic feminine. So toxic feminine energy is this unawakened feminine energy. It is the energy of the feminine that is unconnected to self. So this energy is very, it's a difference between chaos that brings order and the type of energy that's just pure destruction, and it's probably not much of shit gonna come from it. You know, it's different. So when you're dealing with divine feminine energy and not the toxic feminine energy, there is more surrender that's capable to happen. There's gonna be less friction and less ego and less. I don't get into power struggles with this man. I don't need to. It might take him a week, 2 weeks, 3 months, 4 months, 6 months to get through whatever he's getting through, but I'm not gonna get into a power struggle with him about it. So for me to get into my feminine energy, to where, I don't feel like I have to be in masculine energy so that I can protect myself and guard myself, because he can sometimes be irresponsible and careless with the things that he say. That is the toxic masculine energy, and then the toxic feminine energy. She is very emasculating to her divine masculine. She, if he want me to respect him, then he need to earn it. But you're with him, so you're a reflection of that. So what do you mean? Like,
you already there.
right? So so it's just like, okay. So if he don't deserve respect, then you shouldn't be together. And if you're just tied up because of financial stuff, whatever it is, be working your way out of that. You know, so this is just, it's being responsible. It's realizing that, you know what, I am intoxicated by shit like that. I do, be honest with you, low key, I like to be mad because it's the only time I know how to speak my truth. Because my throat chakra is so shut down for my programming, and I don't have enough courage yet to share how I really feel. So I'm just gonna keep stuffing stuff and repressing stuff until I explode, and you know, and then I feel good for a moment because I'm like, yeah, I made them upset. I made them get off me. I made them stop nagging. I made them stop complaining. I made them leave. And then you realize that ain't even, you know, that ain't even a lasting source of power. It was fleeting. So, you know, relationship is the ultimate alchemy. But relationship with yourself is the ultimate alchemy for those of you who are single. So, in celebration of all of these new profound things that we have learned while mental detoxing and doing this 13-day self-love challenge, which we still have about 6 days left to go. So it's not too late, and you will get access to the private community throughout through our website, remnantsgathering.com, where you can interact with like-minded people and not have to worry about people sending you the evil eye and you know, all of that stuff. It's just good to have a safe space.
That's right.
But we don't talk a whole lot about the divine masculine, divine feminine parts of it, simply because we know that we're just in a toxic nation, and a lot of people don't even, especially woke people, like you're just like, I just rather be by myself than deal with all of that. Let me just keep working on me, and that's apples to what you should be doing. Absolutely. So we got the self-love potions. Have y'all seen those? Oh my goodness. Like, I am so thankful that I am able to communicate with herbs and crystals, and oh my goodness, I'm so thankful. It's so awesome. It's so fantastic. And like the potions just continue to go up and up and up and up and up. Yes, we have that to help with this. We also have the self-love jars, where I went and gathered everything for you. You ain't got to go gather, get, or do nothing. All you got to do is show up and do exactly however you are inspired, or the instructions that I gave in the live that we did last Sunday. If you don't know how to do the self-love jars, these are basically some honey jars you're going to make about yourself. So this is a deeper level of intimacy. Like we need intimacy and connection. We need, like, don't even focus on the love right now. Just focusing on the intimacy and releasing the things that intoxicate you, that are not good for you. Because at the end of the day, a lot of us are covertly avoiding life, avoiding transformation, avoiding chaos, avoiding divine feminine energy, avoiding change, avoiding conversations that may lead to change, avoiding making decisions, avoiding finally taking a chance and stepping out and doing that thing you've been wanting to do, or that conversation you've been wanting to have. Like, that's his struggle, one of his struggles. With me, I'm like, no, hell no, we need to talk. We finna deal with this. That's me about everything. No, well, you need to deal with that. You need to deal. I misdeal with it. He misavoid it. So, you know, it's our trauma and it's our wounds, and we're all broken, and we're broken in such beautiful ways. You begin to look at it like a kaleidoscope, and that can just shed so much light, you know, in all of these new prisms and aspects and facets and colors, and you stop looking at it like a negative thing, you know.
That's right.
But if you just keep resisting change and transformation, like, you're just gonna live in a state of suffering and misery. So you want to welcome and invite this energy, and you want to be honest with yourself. What intoxicates you? Some of y'all are intoxicated by mean, arrogant, cold men, and I know that was my thing. That was intoxicating. I'm sorry. I scared you, Space. That was intoxicating for me. But yeah, those days are over. But any exes who, you know, might see what I'm doing now, I know they just like, you know. But he ain't got it easy, you know. He got to do the work. It's not about it being easy. It's the beauty of the journey and doing the work, and knowing that just by you evolving and transcending and being your own alchemist and being your own spirit doula, you know, being your own, like you are giving birth, and you're helping your own self give birth.
Right.
You know, you're not going to the hospital anymore, to the church to get help.
You're not depending on nothing outside of
Nothing
yourself.
outside of you. That's the most empowering thing that you can do. And when you do that in the present, whatever is coming up for you in the present, no matter how bad it looks, how painful it is, when it breaks you open, know that it is breaking you open. As long as you withstand that storm, when you come out the other side of it, just like me, you might be all scarred up, but your ass gonna be ready for battle, and you gonna be able, and you gonna know when you need to just relax and surrender, and when you need to go in warrior mode. And it's beautiful to know what modes and what situations call for certain things in life. So when I'm creating potions, and when I'm creating, like nobody else made these jars available. They would just give all of these ingredients to make these jars and protection jars. And I'm just like, dang, it would be really nice if somebody would just gather all the ingredients for me, and all I got to do is do the spell. And I was like, you know what? That's me. What am I talking about? It would be nice if somebody would do that. I'm that one. And you know, so it's just really beautiful for me to share my gift with you guys. And like I told Ernest, I've been doing kitchen witchery since I was a kid.
Yeah.
And you know, I always would go and get spices and herbs, and I don't know, I've been like that since I was a kid. But just to be able to use it to inspire and motivate and help people, so those products are created with a lot of integrity, you know. And I feel like a lot of y'all are energy readers, and so you read our energy, and y'all know what's up. That's why y'all come and join us, you know, every Sunday. We appreciate it. Is there anything that I'm leaving out? The spell that's coming up? Okay. So we're gonna go ahead. We had over 58 people like the post that I made about this, and I needed clarity as I was going through the process. It's so many different types of magic and spiritual practices and things that I could do. So it makes it challenging to pick one. So when I made the post on the community tab of YouTube, if you miss it, go check it out and see how you feel about it. But I wanted us to have a spell that we're gonna do, that you're going to be able to recreate and do yourself, but you can also benefit by having the digital experience of it, which is the great thing about technology. Some magic, there is a such thing as digital magic, and just by you paying your attention and your awareness to that thing, you can create. So if you have no ingredients, or maybe you live with people and you can't do none of this stuff, like this would be beneficial for you. I created it for couples at first, and I was like, you know what? The divine masculine and divine feminine within some people who are acknowledging that parts of themselves need something to just give them that extra power source to be able to get through the whatever phase that you're in. So if you happen to be going through a dark night of the soul or a spiritual emergency right now, and your spiritual awakening is manifesting itself in like spiritual depression, and that's part of it, like this will be helpful for you. You know, so I'm creating this where it can be used for couples who are seeking more intimacy, or for someone who wants to be able to be more intimate and vulnerable with themselves about their own insecurities and their own demons, and empower themselves and validate themselves despite the fragility that they see in front of them, to be able to have the courage to make some decisions and to do some things that people might not like, but you know is what you need to do. So this is what the spell will be for. And the name of it, we got it today. The name of this is Easy Lover. Easy Lover. And we would like for loving all parts of you and all parts of your partner to be easier. So the ingredients that will be used, the way that it will be done, that will be the intention behind it, to have more oneness, to more unity, and for love to feel just a little easier. And so magic is to be supportive of the process of what you're already doing, the soul work. It is to support you on that journey and to empower you so that you can have the manifestation that is in alignment with your heart's desire. Yeah. Easy Lover.
Yes, it was perfect when she said that. That was perfect. I said, you got some.
Yeah. So what
go
y'all
through.
talking about? Anything we need to
Yeah.
address? Any questions before we get off here, y'all? What y'all think about today?
Cool for rock and roll. So I'm learning a lot from Ernest and Cam. I can sense and feel the positive energy of awakening, concern and knowledge and wisdom. It's like meditation.
Ashe.
Ashe. I also feel myself getting a little sleepy, relaxing. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
People say that I have that effect on them. Like for real. I've done readings with people and they just like, I feel like I want to just go to sleep now. They feeling so much better. I'm like, that's what's up.
Yeah. Thanks, Kevin. Kevin said, follow that. They are the truth. Always have been. Trust me on this one. Yeah.
Thank you, Kevin.
Thank you, brother. Yeah.
So yeah, y'all, like, try to practice being intimate, being vulnerable, and you can be an easy lover. It's not even trying to make somebody else be an easy lover, but like if you learn how to love effortlessly, that right there is so valuable.
Yeah.
That increases your value. So when you do come together with somebody in a relationship, that's going to increase your value because you've taken the time out to add value to yourself.
Yeah.
And so you can be an easier lover. And it's the maintenance doesn't seem as high because you have just fulfilled so many things within yourself, you know? And it's just it's beautiful to being able to do that. And we're just living in a time it's loneliness and incompletion and heartbreak. It's an epidemic.
That is so true. Nate D said, I just got the book by Montauk Chia, Fusion of the Five Elements, Healing Negative Emotions Through Meditation. Sounds good.
Yeah, I like that, Nate.
Being vulnerable and good communication by listening and hearing one-on-one.
Yeah.
Let me see if anybody has a
And
question.
that's a great point because it's not about being agreeable. So like even with the spell, the intention is not to make them agreeable.
Yeah.
Easy lover is I welcome whatever comes up. I welcome the energy in a non-judgmental way. It's unconditional love. You know what? I'm here for all of it.
Self-care
And
and
you know, so
self-appreciation.
that's the whole key. It's not trying to make somebody be or do something else, but it's just so that you can be more at ease and at peace with love and however that shows up. So yeah, the easy lover. We didn't know if we should do it on YouTube or Zoom. I mentioned Zoom.
We're probably gonna do it on
but
Zoom.
I don't know. You sure?
You know, yeah.
I don't know if we
might do it
pre-recorded.
on Zoom. Oh, yeah.
But we'll figure out how we're gonna do it, and just make sure you subscribe to the website, because you know the most powerful magic is magic that is inspired. And when you do a whole lot of logistics and planning and strategizing, and it don't hit the same. So yeah, so we we wanted to have this interaction first and just see if we could. Again, this is like group magic, and so you know when you're watching something, your energy, attention is going to it. But y'all, this is an investment that I think we all should be making in ourselves and detaching ourselves from intoxicating things that are toxic so that we can finally be intimate. And it's hard to be intimate when you're intoxicated by things that's toxic to you.
That's so true. Okay, Kevin, I will definitely let you know. You said whenever I decide to get with the fellas, count you in.
Absolutely,
sure.
that's awesome.
Knee Relieve Chronicles said, Camp, somewhere I do sometimes I feel that I knew Ernest in my past life.
Yeah, you know, because a lot of people that are in the same soul tribe, we have soul contracts with each other, which is why we resonate with each other.
Yep,
yeah,
that's true. I guess you were asking about the potion. You said, is it safe? I can learn more and read up about it. Okay.
Yeah,
this can work for introverts too. Yeah, pretty much all of the potions. She always creates a blog, and we definitely want to make sure that everybody know when you go to the website, go to the blog section, and you will be able to read up on the meaning, the properties, and the types of ways of using the potions. Yeah. Thanks for their donation.
Yes, Ashe. Thank you. So this was sweet. Yeah, check out the website. It's a
Thanks, Women's
lot of
Loving
stuff
Life too
there.
for just
Yeah,
yeah.
riding with us and just being supportive of us. It's man, yeah. So you know, thank y'all. We're gonna get back to it. We got a lot of new stuff we're working on still. We're always wanting to bring some new products. So that's what we're working on. But this intoxication and this toxins and this intimacy stuff, it's
It's the real deal.
y'all, we got to do the work.
Yep.
We got to do the work. Invest in yourself. Okay.
That's good.
We know that it
King's
requires
Corner.
discipline, but you got it.
He said, I
can
definitely had
do
a
it.
bit of spiritual depression, but I'm coming out of it stronger and better.
That's great.
Right. That's right.
And it's a part of the process.
Thank you, Nina.
Don't beat yourself up about it. Y'all, it's part of the process. Dark night of the soul, spiritual depression, it's part of the purging process. It is the healing crisis. And when the more that you honor that, the sooner you come out of it. So that's the key. Like, can you honor it however it's showing up?
Thank you for the hugs.
Yeah.
She said hugs.
Virtual hugs.
Yeah. and I'll just say this, you know, I guess one reason why it does resonate so much is because we not doing none of this for a show. Like, no, we want our relationship to like be like, you know, like you know, can't let me go type shit. You know what I'm saying? So like we seriously like working our relationship through all of it. You know what I'm saying? And I can't remember, but we shared some time ago, like we was like we had that honest moment, which we call them. We had that honest moment, and we both expressed to each other that we ain't going nowhere. You know what I'm saying? And this is what we want, but we want the best out of it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And so if you, whatever it is you want, and when you want the best out of it, you got to put in all the work. You know what I'm saying? All the blood, sweat, and tears. You got to put it into it. And that's what this is about. You know what I'm saying? And we just share the experiences. You know what I'm saying? And so I believe that's why it definitely resonates.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So I'm going to put on the community tab, because I know some of y'all here is still some aspects about the conversation we had that maybe, you know, you need to look into a little more. So go to the community tab, okay? And I'm going to create a post, and I'm going to put a link in there about covert avoidance, okay? Covert avoidance. This is going to align so perfectly. This is by the Crappy Childhood Fairy. You know, over here, we always showing love to other channels. Yeah. And, you know, that's just what it is. Yeah. So, intimacy
it's
avoidance.
Yes.
Man.
She calls herself the
Crappy Childhood Fairy.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Intimacy avoidance. So, is this you? You know, if you're not sure if it's you or not, go check out the video and see if this is you. And I can guarantee you it's going to resonate to the point where you're going to be like, yo, I got some work to do.
That's right.
You know, I got some work to do, and it's beautiful. Let the work that you're doing be so, just let it be a beautiful nightmare, because sometimes it's a nightmare, but find the beauty in it. All right? So we're not going to stay around too much longer. I'm going to put that on the community tab. For those of you, the potions, I think we still have probably, we got a few left. So they are going fast. If you've been sitting on the fence about it and didn't know for sure, like magic, spiritual practices, that is self-investment for your transformation. And so, yeah, you want to make sure that people that you are supporting are feel like it's going in a direction that's beneficial for where you're going. So, yeah, I'm going to share this video, too.
That was David DeAndre. Okay.
The
King's Corner podcast. Yeah, okay. Gotcha.
Jeez,
Yeah, y'all good? Yeah.
Nice to see you here. Look.
Thank you too. Thank you too.
Let me try to, I got a sneeze coming.
It's not real. It seems that way.
So we love y'all. Thank y'all. We gonna slide on off here so we can work on some stuff that we working on. Y'all, as y'all can see, we've been getting in. Look, mental detox, 13-day self-love challenge. It's never too late. It don't matter when you see this video. That shit go be on the website because it don't matter what it takes. Our website not going nowhere. It's not disappearing. I don't care what it takes. It's not going nowhere. We ain't going nowhere.
We gonna have a bag up for the bag up for the bag
Thank you for the donation.
For the bag up.
May they return you 36
Thank
to
you,
100 fold,
King
King Kufu.
Yes.
In this
Appreciate
mofo. Kufu in this mofo. So, yes, love the many different pieces of you, you know, and
Appreciate
be honest.
You
You intoxicated by stuff that's intoxicating. We all are.
Detox.
Mental detox. You cannot have self-love without mental detox. They have to go together.
Yes.
You know? So check out the channel. It's on the community tab. Check out the website, the products. Again, I write a blog for everything. It takes so much time to look that stuff up and cross-reference it and make sure that the metaphysical properties and the benefits is aligning with what we need. And oh my God, why do I do it? I think I'm a workaholic, you know, but I really love what I do and being able to help people. And Ernest does too, and that's what we're here to do. That's why we're not rushing into the twin frame stuff. We kind of just been easing into it. But if you get a reading and you want to know more, there is a wealth, a plethora of knowledge that we don't talk about on here because it's just not humanly possible for us to share everything that we've learned. But y'all help us to know what we need to share. So yeah, if you got something that you think we should discuss, just inbox us, message us on the website. That is the quickest way to reach us. If you want to get a reading, you can book that on the website as well, remixgathering.com. And I think that was everything. Announcements. All right. So y'all already know what it is. Now, if y'all been watching us for a little while, y'all ought to be to the point. Y'all be saying this shit.
They probably do. Y'all be saying this shit.
I be saying, I catch myself saying it and just be so fitting to just say it, you know. But
I be
I
wanting to
love
put that
it
on everything.
Yeah. You put it on everything. Yeah. All right. So here we go. Y'all ready? All right. Man, your third eye has just been kissed. Peace. Boom.